This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Keep your private information private. Protect yourself from hackers. Don't let them steal your information. Go to expressvpn.com/RTTV to learn more. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast. I'm Gus.
I'm Gavin.
I'm John.
I'm Barbara. That was so fast.
And I'm Gus.
You did that without a teleprompter.
There's a hair on my mic. Oh, I've done... There it is. I've done that read there. Oh, it was an eyelash. I've done that read so many times that I know it. Actually, I was reading it, then I peeked real fast. I was like, what does it say in the lower third? Okay, it's the financial details one. Like, I can go.
Gavin's character in the first Laser Team movie, or I guess technically both, because you're playing the same character in both, is supposed to just have, like, a comically large dick.
Yes.
And so they gave him...
A prosthetic.
Which would just be, like, I guess because it was more comfortable, just...
Yeah,
hanging out of
the
your
downside
costume the
to
whole
it was that it would smush my regular penis out to the side, so it never looked right. I either had like a big long schlong with like two bulges, because one was my real bulge. So just in between, I would just pull it out because it was comfortable to walk around without it smashing my genitals
You ever
down.
pull out the other one accidentally? I'm just kidding.
Whoops! Sorry, that was...
Good times. You can just tell people it was deep faked.
Yeah, and then the second one, I don't think I even wore it. I think
It probably got.
it was removed.
It was cut.
Yeah, it was completely cut from the movie.
Where's my
Where's
soundboard?
you don't have your sound machine?
Just like you in Bloodfest.
Yeah. Oh, I was the dick that was cut out of Bloodfest. There you go. Thank you, Mike. It's much fancier than my room shot.
Yeah,
a
this is
weird
lot more
one.
bonkers than that one.
Yeah.
Built up.
I don't know if this is Black Box Down related at all, but are you guys going to talk about the rocket from China?
Oh,
At all?
yeah, that just happened, didn't it? I guess no.
I guess
mean,
it's not airplane related.
Didn't have a
spacecraft
black box.
is-
Aeronautics.
yeah, spacecraft is totally different. I don't understand that nearly the same. But that's interesting. I mean, stuff always comes back, right? Or well, not always, but stuff will a lot of times come back to Earth, and it's just, I guess, irresponsible the way that it came back. Like it wasn't in a controlled manner.
Well, didn't something happen with when it was ascending?
Yeah, they said
like
there was some kind of malfunction.
It came off too early or too late or something like that.
The crazy part to me about all that was
Too late,
how they don't know when it's going to crash or where
where.
it's going to until like at the very end. They're like, there's like this long wave all around the Earth. It's like it's going to happen somewhere around here. We'll know as the time draws closer.
I definitely saw a video about it online at like 1 a.m. when I was already feeling kind of anxious, and I was just like, I'm gonna watch some videos just to kind of like relax and like whatever. And then it's just like, there's a rocket that's hurtling from space. Nobody knows when or where it's gonna land. So enjoy.
I'll be honest, I left my house twice and looked up just in case.
But for a while, like one of the potential lines came over like Central Texas.
When I saw that, I was like, I'll probably just glance the sky when I go out,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in case.
I know how
to what end? Glancing the sky.
look up just see if you see anything.
You don't want to jump out of the way.
You don't want to be caught off guard. If you're going to be crushed
I
by a
do.
10-story railing, you want to be able to see it because it'll look cool.
Don't want to see it, because if I don't see it, then
Can't think of it.
there's no moment where my body is aware of it, and we just say bye bye to John, and John doesn't realize
It'd be
it.
the most gruesome. You know, like you see like Nest doorbell footage of people walking out and slipping on ice, and it's
Yeah.
funny, or like the delivery person drops the pizza against the door.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing the same kind of footage, but just it's like wham! It's like a shitload of metal from
Just
space.
obliterated a mustachioed man. He didn't even see it coming.
It was moments like that, though, that I know that I could explain that my anxiety is unreasonable, where it's just like, am I really anxious about this rocket hitting me? Out of every single fucking place it could hit on this Earth, which is what, 95% ocean?
One of the lines did come through like Central Texas,
I
close to
know.
Austin.
I know, but it's like...
You're not helping.
Still, the chances of it are, like, microscopic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But
I think
it was non-zero.
Everything is non-zero, right?
Well, I mean,
To an
most
extent.
things.
But it is a good point. There are how many people? 7-something billion people,
Something like that, yeah.
and that's just taking into account the pieces of Earth occupied by humans.
Right, which
Doesn't
we
even
actually
account
don't
for like
occupy very
most of
much.
the ocean. yeah.
Exactly. So...
But still,
It
Keep
did
an eye
end
out.
up crashing like 27 miles from.
Yeah,
Wasn't it near the
from Houston.
Maldives?
Yeah,
Maldives?
Maldives. It was about 27 miles away from where people actually did live. So
Yeah.
even though the ocean does cover that much, those people had a much great. They almost got hit.
Did it? So it's crashed.
It's landed,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I think
Yeah,
it landed
it was
on
safe.
Sunday.
Saturday
Everyone-
night,
Saturday
Sunday
night.
morning.
Everyone
somewhere in
go
there.
about
Yeah.
your day. We're all fine.
there was a fish somewhere there that was tripping out.
Yeah, there was some other fish saying, there's a non-zero chance you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
And wham, right in the little fish
The
head.
fish like, it's probably going to hit a human somewhere on land.
Yeah.
I think I could.
I solved a mystery recently.
Congratulations.
I'm very proud of this.
Oh.
This is something I've brought up a couple of times on the podcast.
Yeah.
I kept finding little letters around my house.
You
Like-
heard about this, John?
I think I heard about this.
It's tiny. I don't, how big is that? Like less than maybe a centimeter?
Yeah,
Tall?
like a little N.
Like
and
yeah,
stuff.
I found the letter B, the letter N, and the letter S. Like all over the course of a couple of months. I mean, maybe
Trying to
several
spell
weeks.
boners.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't figure out where these letters were coming from. And a week or two ago, probably like 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, in my living room, under or like right next to the coffee table, there was a letter O. And I was like, oh shit, the letters are back.
He literally texted me, Gavin, saying, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, they're back."
They're back. So then at this point, we're at BNSO. And then like
Bongos.
Snob.
and then like 5 minutes later, I found another O on my couch.
Snoop.
So it was BNSOO. And at this point, once I found the second O, I knew exactly where all these letters were coming
They all
from.
came together.
It all came. As soon as I found that second O,
You
I was
texted
like,
us, I think, 2 minutes after you said they're back, being like, "I
I
figured it out."
figured it out. I was so happy. BNSOO. It was my shorts. Bonobos.
What part of the short?
There's the little logo above the pocket.
God.
It has little raised letters. Those were they were blue shorts I was wearing that
Oh,
day.
I love that
my.
they didn't get stuck in the washing machine. They were actually just shedding out
They
in
were
the world.
Out in the world. You can see BNSOO.
Didn't we ask if like you had any clothing that had lettering on it or shoes? And you're like, no.
I don't think I did. Like I own a couple.
I guess like on the back, it's hard to really.
Right.
Think
Plus, I own
about.
a couple pairs of shorts from that company. This is the only pair that has raised letters like that. None of my other shorts from that
That's such a
brand.
design flaw because
Have
surely
that.
whenever you bend over, it's going to strain the tops and bottoms of each letter and ping them off.
That must be why.
You've been bending over a lot.
Yeah.
Did you just peel the other two letters off by yourself just
No,
to?
they're still on there. They're still there. So, and then once I figured that out, Esther asked, "Are you gonna tell the story in the podcast?" I said, "Yeah," and she said, "Isn't it just gonna seem like some really lame like advertising, like marketing ploy by Bonobo?"
If anything,
If
like,
only you got paid for this.
anti-marketing, because someone's like, "Why do I want those shorts if the letters are just gonna shed everywhere?"
They're great shorts, but yeah, I mean,
That's-
buy the ones that don't have the raised letters on them.
It's a nice, satisfying ending to that mystery.
Yeah, at least like it's super anticlimactic. It wasn't anything fantastic. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just like, oh yeah, it was my shorts.
There's like a party we were at years ago, probably like 7 or 8 years ago, where Gavin was like very drunk, and a lot of us were, and he was just like, "I don't feel good," blah 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 blah, and then he literally goes, and it's just like a vomit like into a trash can, and then he's like, "Well," like it was like it didn't happen. It was like, bleh.
Yeah, it was just like, anyone got any gum?
Anyway,
I don't even.
Actually, Aaron Zeck still compliments me on that vomit
Does
performance.
she?
She complimented me the other night when she saw me. She's like, that night when you just threw up so casually, I was like,
she still thinks about it.
we have to get off this conversation because now we're getting to the point where I'm thinking too much about vomit and it's making me sick.
Oh, there you go. The Netherlands and Belgium. That's
wow.
exactly what I was talking about.
you could spill your drink in Netherlands and it would land in Belgium.
What happens if you had your like one foot on each side, got shot, and died? Where would they say you died?
A little ref would come out and he'd come over and he would measure to see which side landed on more sides.
Well,
It might be something like
59%
that.
of his
Yeah.
body is
Yeah.
in France, but most of his blood is in
Yeah.
the Netherlands.
It's so
Or what if
weird.
you were straddling that line and had a baby? Where was that baby born?
Did you
Tell me these things.
when you said baby? Did you have to do that hand motion when you did that? you went like that as you said it in order to teach us all. Where's the babies come from?
Where it comes
Where's
from?
the babies come from?
The vagina.
In chat, Sombra says that there's a corner in the Harris Casino in Lake Tahoe that you cannot gamble in because that corner is in California and not Nevada.
And it's illegal to gamble. In
Right.
California.
What is the point? What do they put in that corner then? I don't know. It's like a toilet.
Smoker's lounge or something.
Food court.
What? How does that even happen? Where Did the border move? Did they know that the corner was going to be?
Was it built before they
Well, I think the
established?
border was there before the casino.
But then why
Why would they build it there?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Is that why would that be built if you know where the border is, or is it they just like they overextended their construction and then someone came in later and was like, oh, you accidentally built on California.
It's always weird when people are like so strict about stuff like that because most people surely would be like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's your building, but
You're in the
because
building,
it's
yeah.
like interstate law, it's like well, it has to be very strict, otherwise people could be extending the state all over the
That's the
place.
thing. Yeah, you have to draw the line, and it's literally that. Its borders are drawing the line at a specific spot, and that's
Yeah.
when you go past that line.
Then problems happen.
Yeah.
What happens if you're playing cards and the cards are drawn over the state line, but you bet on the safe line?
That's like that is the legal battle of not touching you. It's like, but you are doing something wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen people get cut off from gambling in Vegas before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at a craps table. Like I've seen
Because they're spending too much money, or
they're
or
losing too much. I've seen like the craps dealer be like, "Why don't you take a little break? Go walk around a bit. Come back."
So what's in it for the dealer? Just to be nice?
I think
Yeah.
so. They're just like,
Hum-
you're not having a good run. Why don't you go walk around?
Common
get the fresh
courtesy.
air.
Because
Yeah.
that I would imagine, unless you're a completely disconnected emotionally dealer, like that's got to be hard at some point just to watch. Because part of your job is just trying to take people's money. Not trying, but your company's success is based upon you taking people's money.
Yeah.
But there has to be, talking about lines that you cross, there has to be a line where it's like, this is now, I'm watching a tragedy.
Yeah.
And I'm actively participating in this
Right.
tragedy. Sir, please stop making me a part of your sad
I
story.
don't want to be part of this misery.
I don't. You are forcing me to ruin your life to a certain degree. So I need you to step away.
Come back when someone else is standing here.
Yes. Please go make some money and then come back.
I want to circle back real fast. Apparently, in that corner of the casino is the food court, and specifically, there's a Fatburger.
That's what I said. Food court as a joke.
You nailed it. There's a Fatburger in the corner of the casino
It's
that's in
the safe
California.
bet for that corner.
So do they
Yeah.
apply like California state
Oh.
tax to
They
that?
must.
Maybe what if the register was in the other state?
But oh man, I
Point
don't
of
know.
sale.
I don't know.
What if you were with a 17-year-old and you walked into the Fatburger corner? Is that bringing a minor across state lines? How does that work? I don't even think a 17-year-old is allowed to be in a casino.
Just don't go to a casino with a
What if
17-year-old.
what if it's your kid or something? I guess if it's your kid, it doesn't matter. That's a dumb question. Move on.
If you're not aware, I have two kids, and neither of them look like me because neither are biologically mine. But one is this little white ginger ghost, and then I have a black kid. And when you are traveling by yourself and you are traveling with little kids like that, they, no matter what, they often ask to make sure that I am the person who's supposed to be with these
Right.
children. And so I have a special extra little bit where I'm looking extra suspicious because I'm just some dude who looks like nothing like either of these children that he's traveling with. And so they always, especially when they were younger, they always asked. Now when they're older, they haven't asked as much anymore. But there was, I always just trust that my girls will answer right. But one time we got to TSA and they stopped us and they talked to the girls and they were like, "What's your names?" And the girls said their names and like that. And then they turned to me and they go, "And who is this?" And there was one time they did that and my girls gave what can only be described as the uncomfortable amount of pause before they answered. Because they thought it was a silly joke because they're like, "That's dad," in their brain. But then this lady's just like, "And who's him?" And they're like, it's like, and it was just enough time where like a lifetime of anxiety was compacted into this one moment where I was like,
But every second that was ticking by, you were like,
Right.
Uh-oh, say something.
yeah, inside I'm screaming, "Answer!" Just say something because I need to get on this flight and
They're
not
just
be.
looking at each other going, John.
Yeah, like they
John.
like the worst thing they could have done is like say it's some sort of silly answer.
Like I picture almost Jeff being a little kid in that scenario.
Yes.
And Jeff being
man.
like, "I've never seen that man before in my
Right.
life."
Imagine that in an airport when you're
Right.
trying to get on a flight to go see grandma and grandpa.
Yep.
I remember very distinctly when my parents turned 30 years old. And I remember thinking, wow,
Really?
my parents are old now. Like that is a memory I have.
That's bad.
Whereas my parents had all of us after 30.
I felt old the other day when I was watching James Buckley streaming. Do you
God.
remember
Yeah.
Buckley from In Between Us?
Yeah.
And he was saying, he was like, man, it's been a long time since a GTA game came out. Playing GTA 5 on his
Yeah.
stream. He was like, it's like 2013. And then he was doing the maths. It's like, well, the gap before that was shorter. So let's assume the gaps will probably get longer and longer. And he's like, I've probably only got 3 or 4 GTAs left in my lifetime before I die. And I was like, that is tragic.
As an increment for measuring your lifespan.
Especially when you grow up and they're just like, bam, 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 bam. They're coming out. And it's like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
They're slowing down.
Might only get to GTA 9.
Only.
The guy I used to work with in the UK was like, he was pushing retirement. He was like 65 or 66 at the time. And he was like, I felt like I was 21 like a few years ago. It just goes.
I hate
And
that.
and I was like, what do you want me to do with that information?
Yeah,
I can't-
existential dread.
I can't do anything about that. It's scary.
What's
Don't tell
the
me.
appropriate reaction to that?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the moral of the story is, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do good. Don't mess it up.
Don't
But
have a global pandemic for one or two of those years.
he was right. That was, I don't know, 12 years ago.
I read a totally different topic. I read an absolutely disgusting story the other day that I've been dying to share with you guys.
Okay.
It's about Sty.
No, it's not.
Oh.
But apparently there was this phenomenon that used to happen in New York City that I was unaware of. In the old days before smartphones and digital currency, if you wanted to ride the subway in New York, you had to have a token. And
Yeah.
you would put like a token in the turnstile and go through and get on the train.
Yeah.
Apparently there were people who were referred to as token suckers who would intentionally put stuff into the token slot to jam it so the token wouldn't go in. And then when like it didn't work and your token was stuck in the machine, they would come out from like the side somewhere and put their mouth onto it and suck the token out. That way they could then reuse it because like each token was worth like $1.50.
So they would make it so that the token wouldn't go all the way through so that they could then come and retrieve it through
Yeah,
suction.
suck it out.
Right. And I cannot imagine.
Surely there's better ways to make $1.50.
Gavin already
some-
looks like he wants to puke.
There's some other sucking you could do for
That's
maybe a little more
disgusting.
money.
I cannot imagine putting that token in my mouth, much less putting my mouth onto the machine to like
Where everyone's
suck on it.
fingers go.
Right. It
It makes my teeth hurt for some reason.
makes my immune system hurt. It makes everything hurt.
Like, what if it gets stuck while you're sucking it? You just like suck it on the machine.
Or you suck it too hard and it clanks the back of your throat. Oh God.
It's absolutely.
So what do they do to prevent
Disgusting.
token suckers?
Well, now it doesn't happen anymore.
Well, they just eradicated them
Right.
altogether. But like, what do they do at the time?
I don't think there was anything they could do at the time. Here, I'm going to read a snippet here. I guess like there was a they were talking to police who worked in the subway at the time, and one of the quotes was, "These guys had a lot of various diseases. You name it, they had it. You don't last too long in that line of work."
Maybe just they could have like ventilated it so there wasn't an airtight way to get them out.
Like a looser situation.
Yeah, like a mesh around it or something. I used to when I couldn't for a long time I couldn't swallow pills because I would freak out and choke on them.
I remember
until
that.
I
That
was
was-
like deep into my 20s. So to practice when I was a kid, I would just swallow peas whole. Like whenever I would eat peas, I would just be like,
Gavin, I did the exact same fucking thing with peas.
"Did you really?
Yep.
Does every kid do that?"
No, probably not.
No.
I think you and I are the outliers maybe in that
There
situation.
are two types of people in this world. There
We
are
were
the kids.
destined to meet and become friends.
I know. And talk about this shared experience right here.
That's
Frozen
Man.
or cooked?
Cooked. Like when you were eating dinner.
Frozen.
Don't look at me like I'm the crazy person. You just said that you practice
Your
swallowing
mom's like,
peas whole
hey,
for
why-
vitamins.
who keeps getting into the frozen peas? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, what does a pill resemble more? A soft, mushy pea or a frozen hard
Well,
one?
it's a practice, so you want the mushy one. So
Yeah, you want to start mushy just to like tease the
if
throat.
you're doing the
open a
frozen
little.
one, you might as well try a pill.
I don't know what thought process went through this rehearsal.
Not a whole lot.
You'll get brain freeze from a frozen pea. You
I
gotta be real
guess
careful.
so. If you're doing it that quickly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to wrap up. I want to thank everyone for watching. We'll see you guys again next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.